I can't tell if this is coming through clear or not. I'm just outside with my phone. This swarm was up in a black walnut tree. So I decided not to fall off a ladder. I got my trash can, put it on the end of a pole, sprayed them with cold fresh water. They tightened up on the branch. Took this basket, bounced it underneath the branch, and they dropped into it. Put the queen excluder on top of the trash can so the queen can't get away. Because there's ventilation throughout the trash can, the bees came right down, found the queen inside. She can't get out. So I'm going to let them clamber onto the side of this trash can and settle down. And then later, I'll be installing them. So being that today is Father's Day, this is my Father's Day present to myself. Okay, my wife made me come and get this. But I hope everyone out there is having a great Sunday. I can't tell if this is sharp. If it is, maybe you could comment that you can still see it. We have terrible phone service out here. This is in the northeastern part of the United States, northwestern part of the state of Pennsylvania. Swarm season is still going on here, going into the last week of June. Oh, it's a miracle. I can actually see your comments too. I wouldn't say sharp, but we get the gist. Okay, well, I guess that's better than nothing. And yes, it was great to see you at the Earned Seeds field day for the Northwestern Pennsylvania Beekeepers Association yesterday. Yeah, I know this image is grainy. It's a live stream. I probably need to try to improve live streaming on site. I could carry a laptop with me and tie into the network. Who knows? Yes, at least it's not raining. It rained yesterday. They did inspections in the rain, if you can believe that. And the bees, of course, were sticking all over everyone. But if you've got a swarm that you find high in a tree, I've done videos about this method before. These expanded metal trash cans, very lightweight, PVC pipe on one side, and then of course, all I did was put that on this extension pole that's designed to change out light bulbs. And as I mentioned before, sprayed it with cold fresh water. They clustered tight, bumped it underneath, let them drop into the basket and brought them down. No ladders, no risk of falling down. And it's a really great method. So I'm not going to keep it live, of course, while I go and hive them, but I'm going to let them settle here for several hours. I find that the best time to introduce them into an empty hive is near sunset, because I know they won't be absconding in the middle of the night. We will put a queen includer on the landing board once I got the queen. I do have a queen pipe in my pocket. Yeah, that doesn't come out very well. So that once I catch the queen, I can put her in, then put a queen includer over the entrance, keep them in there for about 3 days, just on the chance that she might be unmated. We'll pull that queen includer off the entrance after the 3rd day, and hopefully we'll see some pollen and stuff coming in. So I just wanted to go live, see how it worked out. Let me know if you like this, even if the quality is probably poor. We can certainly do more live streams, but I'd like to improve, of course, the speed of the connection. And then maybe we could do live inspections in the future. Who knows? But I want to thank you for stopping in. I can't believe there's 32 people that were available just to pop in. And I hope you enjoyed it. Somebody said it's a healthy swarm. This is definitely, if this were a package of bees, we'd be looking at probably a 4-pound package, and they're all free. Someone asked me yesterday at the event, the gathering at Earned Seeds, what the best source of bees would be: packages, nucleus hives, or swarms. And of course, swarms are free, and hopefully they're adapted to your local climate. So I always go for free, certainly. You're welcome, Tom. Thanks for chiming in. I'm in direct sunlight here. I can't believe I can see my screen. So what are the chances? I guess we could talk about that. What are the chances that this is a mated queen? Pretty high. Just because the sheer number of bees that are with her. Usually when it's an unmated queen, you get these small clusters. And look how they're building. You know, you can see the end of the trash can is here, and they're really piled up on the outside of it. What they may try to do, of course, once they settle, you could see waggle dances on the surface. Scouts are going out, and of course scouts are returning because they were already on this black walnut tree. And so if we see waggle dances, those are the scouts that have come back. They found another place for them to go to, and they're not going to be able to go, of course, because we've trapped the queen. If you try this method, don't be shocked if all of them go airborne and they head out like they know where they're going, but because you've got the queen, you have control, they're going to have to come back. I also don't recommend, if you're hiving them the way I do, which is let them walk in through the entrance. Oh, there's a waggle dance right there. If they, let me get some grass out of the way. So there are waggle dancers here. They're going to be very frustrated with me because the queen won't be able to go. When you see one waggle dancer, not that big a deal. Once you start to see the flash mob, which is waggle dancers all doing the same dance, giving the same information, waggling in the same direction, then you know they're getting a consensus, and it's likely that they're going to head out and try to move into the cavity, wherever it is that they're finding it. And it's not going to happen with these. These are mine. These are my Father's Day bees. So there you go. Let's see. I do see a message here. Fred, I lost a swarm this year while at work. I have 2 lay-in boxes with followers. Let's see. Limited to 6 frames. Old comb, swarm commander. I've baited some branches. The same. What gives? Well, let's see. Swarming. I just want to say this about swarming because probably the most frequent question this time of year I get is, we have so many swarms, how can I stop it? How can I keep my bees from swarming? I was talking to the past president of the Pennsylvania State Beekeepers Association yesterday. I don't personally try to stop swarming. That sounds counterintuitive. A lot of people want to get a good honey flow, you know, a good surplus honey that they can then bottle and sell and everything like that. But keep in mind that when your bees do swarm out, that's the existing queen that's out of there. They're replacing her. They're going to replace her pretty quickly. And when they do, you get a new queen, by the way, that was produced under your current pathogen and pesticide loads in the area where you live. And so refreshing your queen each year, I think personally, is a good thing. If you want to know more about that and how that benefits your colony, of course, this is backyard beekeeping. If I were having to do this for a living and depended on the honey, the surplus honey that we're producing, or even bees for that matter, I would not be very good at that. We don't get a lot of honey from our hives every year. Some colonies do extremely well. Those that don't swarm, of course, have more numbers, more workers with them. But when they do swarm, you get healthier replacement queens. So there is an interview that I did with Margarita Lopez Uribe. You can look that up. She went into great detail on the benefits of letting your bees swarm. And it's not just about making a brood break and helping to control your varroa destructor mites, but it's also about, of course, new queens that are produced under new pathogen loads. So, because remember, your pathogens are alive too. The things that are being spread by the varroa destructor mites are adapting and developing and improving their ability to prey upon your bees every single year. So when we produce new stock under those conditions, we have stock that then can also handle those loads. Hope that makes sense. All right, well, I think I'm just gonna let you watch them if anybody cares, but I think the video quality is probably so poor that that's not much of a benefit. I do see a question here. Queens from swarms are superior to queens from walkaway splits. Walkaway split, remember, that's a good point. Walkaway splits, I should probably explain what that is. When you want to divide a colony and create another colony, you divide the resource, remove the current queen, put your current queen into your new box, and then of course you divide the colony in half, and those without the queen will produce a replacement queen. Now they did that on your time, so that's the point. Walkaway split may be producing an inferior queen to those that they do on their own. So when they have a swarm themselves, they plan for it. They selected their stock under ideal conditions, lots of resources coming through. The environment is suited to producing another colony. Remember, this is just your superorganism producing another superorganism. So it's natural for them to do it. And when they do it on their time, they're selecting the queen they want. They're not under pressure. When you do a walkaway split, of course, it's an emergency process. They're making the best they can out of the fact that their queen was suddenly removed. So there is some good arguments for that. And this is why most of you, if you've got a lot of colonies or even 4 or 5 colonies, when you allow them to produce their own swarms, the problem is a lot of people work for a living. I apologize for those of you who have to leave during the day. But those who are around the apiary like me, we have a very good percentage of collecting them in their bivouac location, just like this one, just like today. And so this is going to be a healthy colony, and the queens that are replacing this one back in the parent colony in the hive that they came from will of course be the best they can because they had lots of planning and they have a lot of selection for which queens they're going to allow to live. And I probably should point that out too. We do a lot of observation when these new queens come out of their cells. And of course, most of you are probably told the first queen to come out runs over, chews a hole in the side of the cells of the other queens that are about to come out. And then she stings them to death through the cells. Well, we've also seen, and that is true, but we've also seen a lot of workers make their own selection about which queen they're going to allow to replace the one that left. And so they sometimes even help that new queen attack, and it's not always the first one out of her cell. They have favorites. They have clear favorites, so we don't always understand. And if we just let things play out, you'll see workers ignoring a new queen, for example, not feeding her, not caring for her, and showing very clear favor to another queen within the colony that may or may not herself kill the others. And if she doesn't, they still make their selection and often just kill off other competing new queens from that generation. So it's really interesting. Gold and Silver says interesting setup. So if you're just now checking in, this is just a 10 frame wooden framed queen excluder. It's on top of a standard wire basket that I get from Amazon. These things come in 2 packs. I think they're like 12 bucks a piece or something. Very lightweight, very easy to put as high as your pole can reach. My particular pole that's laying on the ground over here goes to 30 feet. So, and this is the tree that they were in today, black walnut tree. Very easy to get it right from the ground, and it's just a real easy hands-off process. You can get a squirt bottle that of course will spray a stream of cold water, which is what I sprayed them with. You can get something like that that'll squirt a good 12, 13, 14 feet. Maybe you can squirt the cluster and get them to tighten up before you just bump them from underneath with the basket. And they drop in. If the queen is among those that drop in, and she usually is, that's one of the benefits of squirting them with cold, fresh water. The queen moves to the center of the cluster, and then when they drop off the branch, those that are still on the branch, the queen's not with them. She's almost always in the main mass of bees, which is down in this expanded metal trash bin. So it's a very simple system. We use buckets. We use a lot of different things. The supervisor was out here, and we had another swarm on a small willow tree. Clipped the branch off, dropped that inside, and stitched it shut. We had a very easy pat way to collect the swarm. They can breathe right through the fabric. It's 100% on, and then you have plenty of time to put that right in your vehicle for transport and go in. And then we just clipped it onto the landing board of the hive, opened up the laundry bag, and the bees went in. Sounds overly simple. That's actually the way it all went. And you may be wondering if we made a video, and we did. So we will put that up. It's probably an 8-minute video. There are small kind of demonstrations of different tools that are very inexpensive and practices that are very easy for even beginner beekeepers to collect their bees and hive them up. So I want to thank you for joining me. I think I'm going to close it now. And this was a surprise live. So if you like this at all, please leave that in the comments. And maybe we'll do more live streams like this in the moment when we find a swarm or some interesting behavior that the bees are doing. So I'm Frederick Dunn, and this has been The Way to Bee.